I wanted to introduce Dr. Gloria Miller. She's one of our professors, and I wanted her to walk us through kind of what exactly plagiarism is, what it means, and how we can avoid it. Because 90% of the time, the people that are get caught with it or having problems with it do not do it intentionally. So we want to cut that out now so that it's not a problem for you and so that your professors don't get frustrated with you later on. So Gloria, welcome. We really appreciate you
Thank
being
you.
here. Okay,
Thank you.
can you tell us exactly in layman's everyday terms what plagiarism is?
Sure. Plagiarism is using the ideas or words of someone else and making it seem like they are your words.
Okay.
Basically, you're taking credit for somebody else's ideas or words.
Okay. If they're your
Intent,
own ideas, can you plagiarize yourself?
yes, you can. If you've used those words in another paper, that is considered self-plagiarism, and you cannot do that. You can have those same ideas, reword them, and that would be fine, but you can't cut and paste material, even from your own older papers,
Mhm.
into a newer paper. Intent does not matter. We do not find that students are intentionally plagiarizing. So watching this video is going to help you realize how to avoid this issue.
Okay, so that's a big thing. I'm glad you said that. Intent doesn't matter, even if it's accidental. If it happens, it happens, right?
Correct.
Okay, it's like
Correct.
a car wreck. You may not have intended to wreck, but now you've got the consequences of a wreck.
Absolutely. What I would like to show you is one of my papers that I wrote for publication
Okay.
that I ran through a system to check, and I had copied and pasted material from a previous paper that I had written. It was all my words, and it would have been considered plagiarism. So let me walk you through that. I put my own research paper in to Turnitin, and I saw that it was 33% non-original material. Okay, so here is my paper that shows 33% non-original material, and it shows the percentage of material that comes from different sources. And here, 7% of this is coming from the dissertation collection of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, because I had cut and pasted material from my dissertation into this paper, thinking that I would reword it later, and forgot.
Hmm.
So if I click on it, it takes me to the section. It shows the original, and it shows what in my paper was a problem. You can see I had just cut and pasted, pardon me, even though the original had the definition and I had properly cited the source in that original dissertation. The fact that I cut and pasted it into this new paper shows that it is non-original. This is self-plagiarization. My original paper was fine, but I cannot cut and paste into a new paper. Now let me show you what appeared after I redid it to get rid of the plagiarization. The same sections are here, and I reworded the material. It still has the same information, and it's important. I still cited the original document, but I have now rewritten this so it is not self-plagiarized from that original document.
Okay, so they can use ideas they've used in the past. They just have to state them differently.
Correct. Correct.
Change. Yeah. Okay. What can you go back to the screen that shows the percent, like when you would first log in to Turnitin and you'd see everybody's names listed?
Sure. I'll actually do it for a classroom one where I have the students' names. Here, this is what I would see as a professor, and
Okay.
here is a paper, and here is the percentage from Turnitin, showing that
Okay.
17% of this paper is non-original.
Okay. What percent gets your attention? What's going to flag you to make you go check that paper?
For me, anything over 10%.
Okay.
But that's an excellent question, because students often ask me, what percent do I need to stay under? Even if it's under 10%, you may have only 5% of your paper, but if it's strictly cut and pasted from another document, that is plagiarism. So a high number will always alert us, but a low number can be an issue also.
Okay. So if
And
someone were
also,
to grab a big chunk of a citation, but they cite it properly, where it's, they want a big quote, they want it word for word, you go check it and you see that it's been properly cited. is that okay?
Everything's fine with that. Absolutely. And that is part of professional writing, is that you do use other people's ideas and writings and then build upon them. So that is encouraged.
Okay.
But again, it has to be in quotation marks and it has to be cited properly.
With the page number and everything. Okay. When you
Correct.
are grading and you see that 17%, do you pull every paper open and look at it, or do you just go, no, they're plagiarizing and you turn them in?
No, I never turn anybody in without looking at the paper,
Mhm.
because some of that 17% is going to be the reference section. When you list your references at the end of the paper, those references had been listed obviously many times over the internet. And so those references will be included in that 17%. And therefore that 17% is a trigger to me, but nothing that I would report on without looking. If that 17% included, if it's a test and they write out the test question and then have their answer, all of those test questions are going to appear as non-original, of course, but it's not a problem. So anytime I see an issue that may be an plagiarism issue, I personally open the document and look at everything that the Turnitin has highlighted, and then I make the judgment as to whether or not it was an issue.
Okay. And they also, in addition to going through everything on the internet, it also goes through the Turnitin database, right? So any other papers that any of the professors anywhere that has used this database, it goes through them as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
And
All right.
therefore, a lot of questions, if I give essay test questions, and a lot of times it will have submitted to North Carolina University, submitted to Gonzaga University. That's because students often answer questions in the same way. And that is not a tip off to me. But if there would be a 24% submitted to Austin Peay State University, it is possible that that student is using their friend's paper. And so
Okay.
then I pull it open and I look at it. But it is possible that even that 24% could be simply restating those questions and then having shorter answers after it. So the number is important to trigger something, but the actual paper itself needs to be looked at before deciding plagiarism is or is not happening. In my classes, I do let them see their percentage when they first turn it in. And then
Okay.
if they would choose to write it, they could. And
Okay.
then I always just grade the last one.
So let's say you find a paper that's 50% is plagiarized. What is your step after that?
After that, I have to report it to the Dean of Students. So an email goes to the Dean of Students, to my chair, to my dean, and to the student, indicating that I'm alleging academic misconduct in the case of plagiarism. I attach copies of the Turnitin document where everything is highlighted, and I indicate where especially the cases are. The student has 3 days to respond to it, and in most cases, the student will contact me and say it wasn't intentional. Sadly, I understand that, but the plagiarism has already happened.
Right.
In my
100%.
courses, it results in a 0 for the assignment or the research paper or the exam, but a student can get worse restrictions. Part of the reason why we send it to the Dean of Students is he then is the collector of all of that. So if somebody plagiarizes in my class and I give them a 0 on the exam, and this is the 3rd time they have plagiarized this year, the Dean of Students would take further action against that person.
Okay.
So I have my internal classroom duties, but he is the overseer to make sure that this isn't a continuous thing for a student.
Well, thank you. I think that answered our questions. I appreciate your time, Dr. Miller. And also, as with anything in our program, if you ever have questions, especially if you're in Dr. Miller's class, just reach out to us personally. We would much rather you contact us ahead of time to discuss a concern you have than to submit it and then it's too late to make any changes. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.